Ever feel like you're just going through the motions, like there's a missing piece in your life, that thing that makes you excited to wake up every day, to truly feel alive?
Yeah.
I think we've all been there, right? At some point. Feeling a bit lost or unfulfilled, wondering what we're truly meant to do.
It's a universal human experience, really, to seek that sense of purpose, that driving force. It fuels our energy and gives us direction. And often that force is what we call passion.
Right, passion. We hear it so much, but what does it actually mean? Is it just finding something we enjoy? Or is there something deeper?
It's definitely more than just fleeting enjoyment.
Yeah?
True passion runs deeper, connecting to our values, our interests, our natural talents. It's about finding that sweet spot where our skills and interests align with something meaningful to us.
So it's like a puzzle piece that fits perfectly into the bigger picture of our lives.
Exactly. And when that piece is in place, everything else just seems to flow more smoothly. We feel more energized, more motivated, more fulfilled in our pursuit.
That makes so much sense. But how do we even begin to find this elusive passion? Is it something we're born with, or can we cultivate it over time?
That's a great question. And it's a bit of both, nature and nurture. Some people, they just seem to have a clear sense of their passion from a young age, while others discover it later in life through exploration and experimentation.
So it's not too late for those of us who haven't quite figured it out yet.
Absolutely not. Never too late to embark on a journey of self-discovery. In fact, many people find their true passion later, after trying different things, gaining more life experience.
That's reassuring to hear. So where do we begin? What are some practical steps to start uncovering our passions?
One of the most effective approaches is to just start paying attention to what brings you joy and energy. What activities make you lose track of time? What topics do you find yourself gravitating towards? In conversations or books.
So it's about tuning into those moments where we feel truly engaged and energized.
Precisely. Those moments are often clues, pointing us towards our passions, like our inner compass, guiding us towards what feels most fulfilling.
I love that analogy. It's like our inner selves are sending us signals. We just need to learn how to listen. But what about those of us who have diverse interests? Can we have multiple passions, or do we need to choose just one?
There's absolutely no rule that says we can only have one passion. In fact, having multiple passions can enrich our lives and provide us with a wider range of opportunities for growth and fulfillment.
So it's more about embracing the richness of our interests rather than feeling limited to just one path.
Exactly. And sometimes those seemingly disparate passions, they can even intersect and create something truly unique and fulfilling.
That's so inspiring. It's like weaving a tapestry of our interests, creating a life that's both colorful and meaningful. But I imagine there might be challenges along the way. What are some common roadblocks people encounter when trying to find and pursue their passions?
One of the biggest hurdles is often our own self-doubt. We might have limiting beliefs that hold us back, telling us we're not good enough or that our dreams are unrealistic.
So it's like an internal battle between our aspirations and our fears.
Yes, and sometimes those fears can be quite powerful. We might be afraid of failure, of judgment from others, or of the unknown path that lies ahead.
It's understandable to feel those fears, but how do we overcome them? How do we quiet those negative voices and start believing in ourselves?
One powerful antidote to fear is action. When we take small steps towards our goals, we build confidence and momentum, proving to ourselves that we're capable of more than we thought.
So it's about proving those fears wrong through action, showing ourselves that we can actually do it.
Exactly. And those small wins, no matter how seemingly insignificant, they can have a ripple effect, boosting our self-belief and motivating us to keep going.
This is giving me so much to think about. It seems like the journey of finding and pursuing our passion is as much about overcoming internal obstacles as it is about external challenges.
That's a great observation. It's a process of both self-discovery and self-empowerment. As we uncover our passions, we also uncover our own inner strength and resilience.
So it's like a 2-for-1 deal. We gain clarity about what we want to do, and we build the confidence to actually go after it. But what about those of us who are already juggling multiple responsibilities? How do we find time for passion when we're already feeling stretched thin?
That's a very real challenge, especially in our busy modern lives. But it's important to remember that passion doesn't have to be an all-or-nothing proposition.
So we don't have to quit our jobs or make drastic life changes to make room for passion.
Not at all. It's about finding small pockets of time to nurture our interests, even if it's just for a few minutes each day.
So it's about finding those little moments where we can sneak in something that brings us joy, even amidst our daily routines.
Exactly. It could be reading a book for 15 minutes before bed, listening to a podcast during your commute, or taking a walk in nature during your lunch break.
Those are great suggestions. It's about finding those small but consistent ways to integrate passion into our everyday lives. But I imagine it also requires a shift in mindset. We need to prioritize those moments, even when we feel pulled in a million different directions.
That's so true. It's about recognizing the value of those moments and giving ourselves permission to prioritize them, even when other demands are vying for our attention.
This is really making me rethink how I approach my own time and energy. It's so easy to get caught up in the hustle and forget to nurture those things that bring us joy and purpose. But you've given me a lot to consider, and I'm feeling inspired to start making some changes.
That's wonderful to hear. Remember, it's all about taking small steps and celebrating those small victories along the way.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation, and I feel like we've just scratched the surface of this topic. I'm so eager to delve deeper into the practical strategies for uncovering and pursuing our passions. What are some specific exercises or techniques that people can use to gain more clarity about what they truly want to do with their lives?
Oh, there are so many wonderful techniques to help people tap into their passions. One that I find particularly helpful is what I call the time travel exercise.
Ooh, time travel. That sounds intriguing. How does that work?
It's all about, well, tapping into the wisdom of your past and future selves. You start by imagining yourself as a child, full of dreams and aspirations. What were you naturally drawn to? What activities lit you up, got you excited?
I love that. It's like revisiting that carefree, curious part of ourselves that often gets buried under the weight of adult responsibility.
Exactly. And then fast forward to your future self, say 5 or 10 years from now, living a life that feels deeply fulfilling. What are you doing? What kind of impact are you making?
So it's about envisioning our ideal future, the life we truly desire, and then working backwards to see how our passions can lead us there.
Precisely. By connecting with our past and future selves, we gain valuable insights into our core values, our deepest desires, and the path that feels most authentic, to us.
That's a really powerful exercise. It's like creating a roadmap for our passions, guiding us from where we've been to where we want to go. But what about those of us who are feeling stuck in a rut? We might have a general sense of our interests, but we're not sure how to turn them into something more tangible.
I see. Well, in those cases, I recommend embracing the power of experimentation, trying new things, stepping outside of our comfort zones and seeing what sparks our curiosity.
So it's like treating life as a giant laboratory, testing out different hypotheses to see what resonates with us.
Exactly. And the beauty of experimentation is that there's no right or wrong answer. Every experience, even the ones that don't quite work out, provides valuable insights and helps us refine our understanding of ourselves.
That's such a liberating perspective. It takes the pressure off of having to find the perfect passion and allows us to approach the process with more curiosity and playfulness. But what about those of us who might be facing external challenges, like societal expectations or financial constraints? How do we navigate those obstacles while staying true to our passions?
Right. That's where the power of reframing comes in, challenging those limiting beliefs and finding creative solutions that align with our values.
So it's about looking at those obstacles from a different angle, finding ways to work with them rather than against them.
Precisely. For example, someone is passionate about art but feels pressured to pursue a more traditional career path. They could explore ways to integrate their artistic talents into their work or find creative outlets outside of their 9-to-5.
That's a great example. It's about finding those win-win solutions that allow us to honor both our passions and our responsibilities. But I imagine it also requires a certain level of resilience. There will inevitably be setbacks and challenges along the way. How do we stay motivated and keep going, even when things get tough?
One of the most effective ways to cultivate resilience is to surround ourselves with a supportive community. Find people who believe in you, who encourage your passions, and who can offer a listening ear when you need it most.
It's like having a cheering squad, reminding us of our strengths and helping us stay focused on our goals.
Exactly. And it's also important to celebrate. Celebrate those small victories along the way. Acknowledge your progress, no matter how small, and give yourself credit for the effort you're putting in.
That's such great advice. It's so easy to get caught up in the pursuit of the end goal, that we forget to appreciate the journey itself. But those small wins could be incredibly motivating and help us stay energized along the way. Speaking of energy, I'm curious to explore the connection between passion and energy. It seems like when we're truly passionate about something, we have an almost boundless source of energy to pursue it. What's going on there?
It's fascinating, isn't it? When we tap into our passions, we align ourselves with a source of energy that feels both intrinsic and inexhaustible.
It's like we're plugged into a universal power source, drawing energy from something bigger than ourselves.
Yes. And that energy, it isn't just about physical stamina. It's also about mental focus, emotional resilience, and a deep sense of purpose that fuels our actions.
So it's like a holistic energy that permeates all aspects of our being.
Exactly. And that's why passion can be such a transformative force in our lives. It not only gives us direction, but it also empowers us to overcome challenges, to persevere through setbacks, and to achieve things we never thought possible.
This is making me think about all the amazing things that people have accomplished throughout history, driven by their unwavering passions, from artists and musicians to scientists and inventors. It seems like passion is the common thread that connects them all.
It's true. Passion is the fuel. It drives innovation, creativity, and progress in all fields of human endeavor.
That's so inspiring. It makes me wonder what might be possible if we all tapped into the power of our passions. What kind of world could we create?
That's a beautiful question to contemplate. I believe that a world fueled by passion would be a world filled with purpose, creativity, and joy. It would be a world where people feel empowered to pursue their dreams, to make a positive impact, and to live lives that feel truly aligned with their souls.
That's a vision I could definitely get behind. But how do we move from this individual pursuit of passion to a collective shift in consciousness? How do we inspire others to embrace their own passions and create this more fulfilling world?
I think it starts with each of us leading by example. When we embody our passions, when we radiate that energy and joy, it becomes contagious.
So it's about letting our own light shine brightly, inspiring others to do the same.
Exactly. And it's also about creating a culture of support and encouragement. Let's celebrate each other's passions, let's offer a helping hand when needed, and let's create spaces where people feel safe to explore their interests and pursue their dreams.
That's a beautiful call to action. It's about shifting from a culture of competition to a culture of collaboration. Where we all rise together, fueled by the collective power of our passions. But I imagine there might be some who are skeptical about the whole idea of passion. They might see it as a frivolous pursuit, something that's nice to have but not essential for a successful life. What would you say to those who might be doubting the power of passion?
I would invite them to consider the alternative. A life lived without passion. It's often a life that feels empty, unfulfilled, and lacking in direction.
So it's about contrasting the potential joy and fulfillment of a passion-driven life with the potential emptiness and lack of purpose of a life lived without it.
Precisely. And I would also point out that passion doesn't have to be about grand gestures or dramatic life changes. It can be found in the simplest of things, in the everyday moments that bring us joy and make us feel truly alive.
That's such a key point. Passion doesn't have to be about, climbing Mount Everest or starting a multi-million-dollar business. It can be about pursuing a hobby, connecting with nature, or simply spending time with loved ones.
Exactly. It's about finding those things that light up your soul and making space for them in your life, no matter how big or small.
This has been such an enlightening conversation. We've explored so much ground, from the power of the time travel exercise to the importance of experimentation and the role of community in supporting our passions. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'd love to delve a bit deeper into the practicalities of integrating passion into our daily lives. What are some tangible steps people can take to make space for their passions amidst their busy schedules and responsibilities?
Well, it can feel overwhelming to think about adding one more thing, to our already packed schedules.
Yeah, where do we even begin to carve out that space for passion?
I think it starts with a shift in perspective. Instead of viewing passion as something extra, something we should do if we have time, consider it an essential part of a well-rounded life.
So it's about prioritizing passion, not just squeezing it in when we happen to have a free moment.
Exactly. Just like we make time for work, family, and other commitments, we need to make time for those activities that nourish our souls and bring us joy.
That makes sense. But how do we actually do that? when our calendars are already like bursting at the seams?
One strategy I recommend is to start small. Instead of trying to overhaul your entire schedule, look for small pockets of time that you can dedicate to your passion. Even 15, 20 minutes a day can make a difference.
So it's about finding those little windows of opportunity throughout the day, whether it's during your lunch break before bed or even while you're commuting.
Precisely. And the key is to be consistent. Even small, regular doses of passion, they can have a cumulative effect, boosting your energy, your creativity, and overall well-being.
That's so encouraging. It makes passion feel much more attainable, even for those of us who, feel like we're constantly running from one thing to the next.
Absolutely. And another helpful tip is to integrate your passion into your existing routines. For example, if you're passionate about writing, you could start a journaling practice or join a writing group that meets regularly.
So it's about finding ways to seamlessly weave passion into the fabric of our lives, rather than treating it as something separate or isolating.
Exactly. And the more you do this, the more natural it will become. Eventually, passion will become an integral part of who you are, not just something you do in your spare time.
I love that. It's like passion becomes part of our DNA, shaping our choices, our actions, and ultimately our entire lives. But I imagine there will be times when we face resistance, either from within ourselves or from external sources. How do we stay committed to our passions when those challenges arise?
One of the most effective ways to overcome resistance is to connect with your why. Why is this passion important to you? What impact do you hope to make? When you have a clear sense of purpose, it becomes easier to push through those moments of doubt or discouragement.
So it's about reminding ourselves of the deeper meaning behind our passions, the reasons why we're pursuing them in the first place.
Exactly. And it can also be helpful to visualize. Visualize yourself living a life that's fully aligned with your passions. Imagine how you'll feel, what you'll be doing, and the impact you'll be making. That vision can serve as a powerful motivator when things get tough.
It's like creating a mental picture of our ideal future, a future where passion is no longer a distant dream, but a living reality.
Yes. And the more vividly you can imagine it, the more real it will become.
This is making me think about the power of positive self-talk. When we face those moments of doubt, it's so important to counter those negative thoughts with affirming statements that remind us of our strengths and capabilities.
Absolutely. Their thoughts, they had a powerful impact on our actions. When we believe in ourselves and our passions, we're much more likely to take the steps to make them a reality.
This has been such an insightful conversation. We've covered so much ground, from the importance of prioritizing passion to the power of small steps and the role of visualization in staying motivated. But before we wrap up our deep dive, I want to come back to our listener, the one who's been with us on this journey of exploration. What's one key takeaway you're hoping they'll carry with them as they embark on their own path of passion discovery?
I would encourage them to embrace the journey. Finding and pursuing your passion. It's a process, not a destination. There will be twists and turns, ups and downs, but it's all part of the adventure. So be patient with yourself, stay curious, and most importantly, never stop exploring.
That's such beautiful advice. And remember, you don't have to do it alone. Surround yourself with supportive people. Connect with like-minded individuals and celebrate each other's successes along the way. And who knows, maybe in sharing our passions, we'll inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect that transforms not only our own lives, but the world around us.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you for this insightful conversation. It's been a joy to explore these ideas with you.
The pleasure was all mine. To our listeners, we hope this deep dive has sparked a flame within you, igniting a desire to uncover your own passions and create a life that feels truly aligned with your purpose. Until next time, keep exploring, keep dreaming, and keep believing in the power of passion to transform your life and the world around you.
Yeah.